like crazy intro.
Crazy intro right now, because welcome to Certified Life Coach Institute.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm just gonna let you guys handle the intro. Pretend like I'm not here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another CLCI Live. Today we pose the question, is your day job killing your coaching dreams? Now, we were supposed to have some alumni join us and kind of work through that space with them. Hopefully they still can join us. We'll see. Still potential for that. But I think what we'll go ahead and do is start off by trying to answer that question. Do you guys know anyone that potentially is, maybe thinking that their day job is killing their coaching dreams? You guys see that as a common occurrence for coaches that do graduate with their certification with us? Is that something that we see a lot?
I will say the reason we have this topic is because we put it up out there. We asked our alumni folk, hi, how are you? What is it that you would like help with? And this was something that came up on several occasions. So definitely seeing it to be a common. And I think to share what was shared with me, what they said was the issue they're having is that they have the full-time job and they're having trouble figuring out how to make that transition from that full-time job to the coaching space. And there's a lot of concerns around that. So we can guess, hypothesize as to what those concerns might be. We may have a student who joins us a little late, but will still be joining us all the same. We'll see. They're still at work, of course, right? It's appropriate.
This day job interrupt your passion that you're willing to do that keeps you going. There's a lot of people that come to the class. One of the things when you were speaking, Jerome, I was thinking about someone who what they expected when they left day one from the class, meaning they finished their course, they took the class, they loved the class, they expected day one outside of class to be a magnet that's going to draw all the people that were interested in working with that individual, and it gets lost in that concept of we're working to learn and grow and be the best that we can as a life coach. But they don't just come. They don't just show up at your door. They don't just show up at the Zoom meetings. You have to get and do things. So when we're talking about this space, it's going to possibly be that double duty. And how do you balance double duty, meaning keeping your day job because you got to pay your bills, and then incorporating the bits and pieces of your new drive and dream in life? That seems, for a lot of new coaches out there, seems to be the conundrum. How do we get going and not be exhausted and burnt out? Because we're coaching people to not be burnt out, right?
By the way, I love the word conundrum.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun word.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the bigger issues, is that concept of burnout. Trying to balance, that, again, we've got to go ahead and pay our bills. That's still got to be something to take care of. But also trying to move into that space of creating your own business, which is essentially what it is as a coach, as a new coach, creating this whole other business aside from that. So having the energy to complete your day job, go ahead, pay your bills, and then still have enough energy to go and create in this space that you really aren't so used to just yet, which can be really tiring. Is there any ways to maybe help navigate that space of burnout that you guys can think of?
So I have a metaphor, I think. I'm a homebody. I like being at home. I don't go out much. And when somebody invites me over, like I had a neighbor finally getting some friends invite me over, I'm like, I don't want to go out. But you put your shoes on, you get up, you put your coat on, you do the things that you need to do to get you over the hump. And then once you go and do it, once you go to the house, once you get out, once you go out to dinner, whatever that is for you, once I did that, then I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited to meet those neighbors, excited to have conversation. But there's that hump piece that we've got to kind of get through, that we've got our day job, we're exhausted. I've had several students share with me that once they get into the coaching space, they are energized and excited.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that transition piece that is sometimes, there's that word, the conundrum, to allow that exchange to occur. What would you have?
Well,
yeah.
Again, part of me, of course, wishes we had people to work with here, but in talking into that space and in speaking into that space and that conundrum of time, energy, etc., I think there are a lot of solutions, and perhaps more than our coaches even realize. I know that we've talked to folks who have a situation where they're sort of bound by their own company's policy, and they're not allowed to proceed until A, B, or C happens. That being said, I think one of the first solutions that a lot of people look past is talking to your job, talking to whoever your boss is. And maybe it's not the solution of you. It could be the solution of you finding time to do that and working on it with them. It could also be the solution of you finding a way to integrate coaching into your existing business. You never know. So I think there's always opportunity and possibility where we may not expect it. Today I was doing a consulting session, and it was funny. She was very overwhelmed by the concept of social media and website and all these things. As we were talking, she had a ton of opportunity to just put it out there, and she didn't even, by the end of it, she realized she didn't have to do social media. She didn't have to do website. She could start right here at home and find there was a good place, and she had the direction. It was fantastic. And so I think, again, it's a lot of times we overcomplicate things and we make it a much bigger hurdle than it in fact is. And it's just like Lisa said about putting on the coat, taking that first step, whatever that is. And sometimes you can't see it though, and talking through it to get to that point is very helpful as well.
Yeah. I today had
Yes,
a little bit.
Anthony raises his hand.
Yeah, I'll stop talking.
I was going to suggest, if you just want to be an absolute psycho, just like quit your job. Just quit your job, because we've had this conversation before, Brooke. Like, it's different when you're like starving, not literally starving.
Yeah.
Food, but
when you have no option or no choice. Yeah.
No choice at this point. I'm going to put your time fully into coaching, learning how to run a business, doing all this stuff. Now, again, I said that was a psycho move because it's probably
well, I'm psycho then. I'm a psycho.
It's probably incredible. This is irresponsible advice. Do not quote, Anthony's told me to do this, so I'm going to go quit my job. I'm just saying, if you want to do this on hard mode and just force yourself to, just quit your job. I don't know.
It is. Well, but also we're not
suggesting. I don't think that's for everyone. I'm doing the backstroke as you said that out loud. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's just no way. And
I did it though. Like to be fair, I did it. It can be done. It can be done. But I will tell you, I was terrified. I was struggling. I had a period where I was worried about paying rent, and I was worried about getting food in my mouth, and I was worried about life existing. I learned a lot fast though. I learned and that was because I had no other option, right? I had to say yes to a lot of things that I probably otherwise would not have said yes to, you know, because you reach that point where it's just like, okay, just got to do whatever I got to do.
To be fair though, this might be an option if you have some sort of safety net. If you have a spouse.
I did have a safety net though. I did, but I blew through it.
But like, if you have a spouse who supports the family and you have a separate 9-to-5 job, maybe discuss this with your partner, and maybe this could be something where you leave your job to focus full time on a passion project or coaching as a career move. Those are normal types of conversations that couples have all the time.
I could see potentially maybe you having a safety net not being a good maybe that would be a factor for you to actually go ahead, and that safety net being your job, maybe that's a reason for you to quit, because there's this quote that I've
It
seen.
can. So that's the thing. Is it,
Desperation creates inspiration.
yeah,
And
it can work
for
to your
some,
detriment.
again, I'm not advocating for everyone, but I have seen that where that could work, where there is no choice but for you to succeed in that moment and to get things up and off the
There's a
ground.
saying, you've got to be hungry. Like, you've got to be hungry to make it, essentially. You've got to. And so
Sheil's here.
It creates that, oh, hi. It creates that need to just move and move and move and move. Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
Which is, but it's also, yes, very terrifying in that process too. And
Yeah.
then I've had conversations where having the job can, if you are content and you've got money coming in and it's easy, sometimes it makes it a little harder to find that fire under your butt to get you moving. So because you're used to doing the same thing, and it's about changing your routine, really, is what it is. Welcome, Sheila. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you?
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And so this is something you're struggling with, right?
Yes, hugely.
Share. Tell us more about you. We've been talking. We want.
So my name is Sheila Kimani. I completed the level 1 as a first class in January. I think by January 9th. I'm yet to do level 2. I wanted to first experience what coaching is really before I take my level 2 class. But so far, I'm still unable to do the whole transitioning from my current job. Like right now, I'm at my workplace. I am a caregiver right now. And I'm trying to transition from this to life coaching. And it's a little bit hard because most of my daytime I'm at work. And I'm like, how do I get to at least move forward with anything relating to life coaching? And it's hard. That's why I raised the topic, and I was like, I really need help with this. Yeah.
What is your biggest block with that right now? What is standing in the way most for you?
Time is a huge factor. I wish I had more than 24 hours in my day, because by the time I leave work, it's very late. It's almost 9 p.m. And when I get home, I'm tired already. And I get to the next day, and it's the whole thing. It's the same routine all over again. So I just, like, for me, since I wanted to really put my life coaching, especially on my social media channels, since I was already a brand by myself, but I want to rebrand it, I lack the time to create videos or to create the content to put out there. So I think I'd say time is my biggest obstacle.
And that brings me to another question. Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is it's a young, let's say young adult, just like me, who is aged from 21 years to 29 years, is trying to balance work and life at home. And also I think that's, what, did I answer your question? I'm not sure if I answered your question well.
I think it answers you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have in your life, like in your day-to-day life, do you come into contact with anybody that would work as your ideal client, or that is similar to your ideal client?
Most of my peers, and I don't come across them in my day-to-day life, but I do come across them in my social media channels. I see what people are going through, and I'm like, I totally understand them. And I think, as we were taught in my life coaching class, we learned that at times your ideal client is yourself. It's like a projection of yourself, and in this case, I think that's what's happening to me.
I one of the reasons I ask that is because sometimes we don't realize that we've already got people that we know that or people that maybe know people even.
Yeah.
that could refer or recommend, and then it's maybe less work creating a whole bunch of content, right?
Yeah.
I'm can you think of any other ways that you could possibly get into I guess the get on the radar, or get into the ears of folks that are like your ideal client, that don't require a lot of time for you?
Ways I could do that. First of all, so far I've taken a step. I'm reducing my work hours.
Oh.
Yeah, like I'm reducing them, and I bought like gears for my content. But another way that I would do that, it's by networking, or rather by using professional websites such as Thumbtack or Bloomchase, but I don't think they're as effective as they wish they would. But as they actually purport that they would, I don't think they're that effective for me. But I think most of it would be networking, getting out there, meeting actual people, going to events, going to attending webinars and just things like that.
I think that's a fantastic I mean a hunch that you have there. Again, takes time, of course, though all things take time. So, and I hear you saying that you're reducing your work hours as well.
Yeah.
With that reduction, do you feel like you will have the time to do this? Is there still apprehension there?
I feel like by reducing it, I will definitely have the time to do it, as long as I don't procrastinate, because procrastination is one of the things that really affects us, especially as young people. We're like, oh my God, I'll do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I didn't do it. So I feel like I will have to fight procrastination as much as I can, because right now, if I feel the biggest obstacle is time, and if when I get the time, I need to actually do it. So the motivation, I just hope that burning motivation that I have right now will still be there.
So I'm totally having a coaching moment at the moment.
I feel that.
But when I hear you, when I hear the word hope, I hope that will be there. Is there a way to change the word hope to will be there?
Is there a way to change the hope to will? Let me think about that. I think something else that I could add, and the reason I said hope, it's because for myself, I've struggled with consistency before, and it's something that I'm working on. It's one of my goals that I'm trying to really work on, being consistent in everything that I do. For instance, as I said before, I'm really vibrant on my social media profiles, but at times it gets and I just die down. I just don't post anything, and that affects me, and and affects my followers, because they're like, okay, now we're not getting any content. What's happening here? So when I say hope, is that I'm just hoping that I will stay consistent, and that's one of my goals, and I'm promising myself to work towards it. So I think being consistent will change the hope to will.
Do you guys have any questions? Because I can keep going. I'll keep asking because I have questions. I do.
Yeah.
With regard to, again, you just said being consistent will change that hope, from that hope to that will.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you can ensure you are that consistent?
Anyway, to ensure that I'm consistent, I think right now, because I'm really focused into becoming a life coach, and it's something that it's deep in me. Like, I feel like this is the first time I'm really interested in a career for myself, and I really want to do it. I've been doing it just in the backstage for either my family or my friends, but right now I really want to do it, and I want to help people out there, especially my peers. I feel like that would drive me, and I'm not sure what would let me down, but I feel like I'm stepping on ice here. Yeah.
One more time. I just want to make sure I've heard you correct. I was slightly
Yep.
distracted. I was reading comments, but you said that you're in this space though. You feel like you're stepping on ice, which is it's a powerful metaphor. That is a powerful. I mean, it's for me when I think of stepping on ice. It could be very scary. Right? It could break at any moment. It could. Is there a way you can make your foundation solid?
Yeah, and I just saw a comment here. Perfectionism is often the thing that procrastination lives in, and that I definitely agree on that. I have struggled with being a perfectionist before, and I'm afraid to put myself out there, to just say that I started this and I think I could do it. At times I struggle with it, and when I say I'm stepping on ice, it's scary for me, and we face judgment, especially for I, I that's it's also something that I would like to definitely put away and just be in the moment as myself and know that no one is thinking about me and no one cares what I do, and I'm just doing this to help that one person who would see the content. So I think by saying stepping on ice, I mean it's scary for me, but I'm willing to take the step. I am definitely taking the step to do it.
So you've got ice skates on.
Yes, I got my ice skates on.
So
Yeah, I saw Anthony. I saw you had an aha moment, and I was gonna
That
change.
was pretty much it. I was gonna just what do you need for your ice skates then? Like if you're stepping on thin ice, that's one thing, but what can get you to where you're just gliding on that ice rink, and you're not afraid to fall through the ice anymore?
I think for me it would be, I think, having someone to always remind me that I'm actually doing this and I'm doing great, or I shouldn't care about any what anyone else is saying out there, and just do my thing, because I've been living in the shadows for so long. I don't want to live in the shadows anymore. I just want to be out there without getting scared of the cold or getting scared of anything. So I don't know how to answer the question, but
this is the point when I'm very grateful for my father, because that man, he taught me not to have no fear and shame of just putting myself out there at a young age. His favorite thing in the world to do is try to embarrass me and my siblings in public as much as humanly possible. And you reach a point where you're like, okay, anything could happen and I'll be okay. Because he just put us through the ringer. And I'm grateful. Mind you, though, I still have had my struggle. There's certain mantras. This is coach half off altogether. And I've told Jerome this as well, that I sort of adopted towards so that I could just be somebody who just sort of is unabashedly herself a lot of times. One of them is one I've shared with Jerome is that most people are thinking about themselves most of the time. They're not thinking about. So we leave interactions with people and in our head, we're like, we can run them through. How did that go? And the other person's doing the same thing and they're worried about themselves. So you don't have to worry about that because typically that's what it's going. But then the other flip side of the coin to that is that if people are talking or thinking about me, then I'm pretty cool. People are taking their time out of their lives to do that. I think what's coming out of their mouths is they are spending time in their day to think or speak about me. That's a win in my book.
Yeah.
So
I do have a question for Sheila, though.
Yeah. Yes.
So that metaphor of the being on ice.
Yeah.
So imagine yourself. Can I go down a path with you just for a moment to see where we do? Imagine yourself. You're on that ice. What comes forward from you in that moment that you already know?
What comes forward?
Mhm.
Fear, I think, because I'm afraid of either slipping down or skidding off the
Mhm.
roads.
Mhm.
Think that's the first thing that comes into mind.
So that fear shows up. I'm on the ice. If I'm you, I'm on that ice. Fear shows up. And then what shows up?
And then I probably think of a way to
Mm.
get that fear out and think of a solution very fast, or
Mhm.
how I will not skid off
Mhm.
the roads. So I think that will be next.
So in that space, I got that fear that comes up, but I'm a quick thinker. I know how to problem solve that moment.
Yeah.
Then what comes up?
Then I think of something very quick. I either, just to prevent myself from falling, but if I fall, I just think of it as a moment that I cannot control, and
Mhm.
I just let myself fall and now figure out a way to get up from that.
So you don't let fear stop you. You allow it to propel you to have that next thought. That next thought, if something occurs that you weren't expecting, you have the resilience to get back up and realign yourself. You didn't say exactly realign yourself.
Yeah.
When you think of this coaching practice as we're navigating down this space of who you are in that, how does that analogy help you move forward with your coaching?
Um, that actually really helps me because I feel like I'm at that point where I'm just in fear,
Mm-hmm.
but all I need to do is take the first step that I'm afraid to take. And when I take the first step, that will lead to the second step, which I don't know what it will be. But but if I don't take the first step, then I won't know what will happen. I will just be stuck in the fear and not move forward.
It's akin to that same metaphor, right? If you're putting on the skates, um,
Yeah.
you're stepping on the ice, and you're gonna have moments where you're gliding, but
Yeah.
you might fall.
Yeah.
You might fall, you might sprain your wrist. Well, then okay, next time I got to wear wrist guards, right? And then you put them back on, and you start gliding again. And next thing you know, somebody might be in the way or something, and that's okay. You learn how to hook a left or right, but you just start doing it, and then once that action is set into place, you're moving. Though you're moving. It's interesting. It brought up. It reminded me of the 5-second rule. That 5-second rule where they say if you get the inclination to do something, you have 5 seconds to take the first step to do it. Otherwise, you'll procrastinate and find a reason not to. So it's a school of thought that start any task that seems scary or unpleasant. Do it in that 5 seconds that it pops into your head. Okay, I want to do this. Just do something, whether it be write it down but take a little baby step, because then you're psychologically moving yourself towards doing it. Whereas if we don't, in that 5 seconds, take that step, we remain stagnant and we stay where we're at and don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that to me really resonated with that quick thinking. I can do this, in that if I'm moving, I'll think it'll come up. And so really it's that stuck, moving from stuck to in motion.
Yeah.
Putting on the skates.
Yeah.
If
I
we're
think it.
sticking with this analogy, you did mention, Sheila, about not wanting to be in the shadows anymore. I want to ask you a question around that. What's scarier, falling on those skates or staying in that shadow?
Staying in that shadow, that's definitely scary for me because then I'm not sure of what I want my life to be if I keep staying in the shadows. As I said, I've been in the shadows and I don't come out to do or to show the world what I can do or who I can be. And that scares me because I feel like I'm wasting time being in the shadows. So yeah.
Is there something that you can go ahead and kind of manifest to remind you that the shadow is scarier than getting on those skates and taking that first step?
Um, Something that can remind me, or what it is?
Yeah. Anything, just a reminder.
Yeah. I had sort of an epiphany. Something happened to me. I don't know if I have the time to explain. It's a whole story. Something happened to me. In 2018, I was still in college. I was a very quiet girl. I had very low self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. But there was an opportunity to attend Harvard Model of United Nations, and I was like, okay, let me just try it. I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get accepted. Let me just do it. So I tried it, and my grades got me accepted. And I was like, oh shoot, okay, I'm here now. Okay, so so I went in and we had to have sessions because we were training for a model of United Nations, and it's a big thing. So during the sessions, at this point, I think I was in my junior year. I had never done public speaking before. I was used to being in the backstage, not raising my hand, not doing anything, and this required me to do that. I was shaken to the core, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And there were these vibrant people who were always raising their hands, saying solid points, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know what to say. But what I used to do, I used to just do my own research, and I had a book. And I dedicated the book to be just for the model of United Nations. When I did that, I used to practice myself at home because I couldn't practice in front of my peers, in front of my mirror. I just would talk to myself. Um, and then the day came, and we had to travel to Harvard for the conference. At this time, I think only one of two of my the group that I went with, they knew me. The rest of the group didn't know me because I never used to say much. Um, so when we got to Harvard, and everyone was in their own committees, and I was paired with my partner, and when we were there, something just came up, and I was like, I don't know these people. They're all strangers because it was a mixture of 3,000 students from all over the world. And we were just all of us. So it was a group of people that I didn't know. We were like separated in groups of like 100 students. So at one point I found myself saying a point of order or something like that, and I went forward and I actually gave my points. By the time that day was over, everyone came to where we were staying at the hotel. Everyone wanted to know who Sheila is. And some students from my school, they were like, what? You in this trip? We don't even know you. How are you? What's your name? Like, what course are you doing? And I'm like, what? People we have trained for like 6 months, but no one knew me. But so from that moment, I knew that I just need to get out of my shell and just go and do something that I've not tried before. And from then on, I got awarded. I was one of the best lead committee leadership. And I feel like that each time I remember that moment, for me, it gives me the hope, and it gives me the strength to do something that I have not tried before. And it assures me that you don't know what's in the other side. You just gotta do it. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, Jerome.
No, you definitely did. I'm gonna ask, and you definitely don't have to have a specific way of doing this, but Lisa put in the chat, is there anything tangible that you can do to kind of anchor yourself to that specific moment that you were speaking about?
Something tangible. Um, Something tangible that I can anchor myself into doing it. I don't know. I don't know if I understand the question.
I heard you said a statement there. I don't know if maybe that statement could have been something that you used to remind yourself right at the tail end of that story.
Yeah, yeah. When I say that, each time I remember the story, it gives me the strength and motivation to do something that I've not tried before, and um, telling myself I don't know what's on the other side of the.
I'm raising my hand.
Yeah. Yes.
So there was a moment that you were sharing, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. I loved it when you got excited and you were telling the story, and I felt it where you said, "People want." I believe, and I might be misphrasing this, so please correct me if I am. But you said that people wanted to hear you. People wanted to know you. People wanted to. They were excited to hear your voice and your perspective and what you had to share. And I mean, when you said that, I got goosebumps. It was such a powerful moment. And then, so when Jerome, with what Jerome asked you, you were saying, well, I remember that, I have to do X, Y, and Z. But that phrase right there, the phrase, people want to hear my voice. People want to people want, I mean, we change it from they wanted to in that moment to they want to now. And maybe that is somehow a way, something you remind yourself, and somehow you remind yourself. Maybe there's something when we say anchoring. What an anchoring is, that I've got a quarter that I've, which sounds silly, that I've anchored myself. When I was really struggling with my PTSD, I wore bracelets, and every time I held the bracelet, my copper bracelets, it was a tangible reminder to me, a tangible reminder that I would be okay, a tangible reminder to that this was an emotional reaction, and it was gonna come to an end. It was gonna and that was for me personally. So that bracelet was great because it was right there on my wrist, and I could remind myself when I got nervous, when I got scared, when I felt that anxiety coming up, that I could just hold on to that, and I was like, I'll be okay. And it's such a simple thing, right? It's such a simple thing, but it because I think of its simplicity, we're able to anchor something simple but powerful to it. So that's, I think, what Jerome was asking when he was asking you, is there a way for you to sort of anchor yourself to that feeling? I think that when we're talking about the feeling, we're talking about that feeling that you actually had when people in that model United Nations moment, that actual feeling. And is there a way for you to carry that with you so that when you're nervous to put that that ice skate on, so when you're nervous, that you can tap back into that model United Nations moment, and that feeling.
Yeah. I think I could definitely do that. Did I feel like am I still on?
You're
I
still
feel like
there. We still see you. Yeah.
okay. I think a way for me to, I don't have any tangible thing, maybe the certificates, but that's a big thing. But it's still fresh in my mind, and it's always in the back of my mind. So I feel like what I could anchor myself in, or what I could use as an anchor, is remembering how it felt and how I was before and after. The before and after moment, I think that's what would really help me.
So that contrast is very important to you, then, is what I'm hearing, that before and that after, right?
Yeah.
Sheila before the Sheila. So that was the Sheila in the shadows versus the Sheila on the ice.
Yeah. So
the ice is not so scary. At least for me, it's not anymore. How do you feel about it?
I feel lighter, definitely. I feel like remembering that just kind of made me feel lighter in terms of the fear. I feel like it's gone. I'm not gonna say entirely gone, but I have to do it. I have to do it for me to be absolutely sure that it's gone. But I feel lighter right now. I feel like I could actually go ahead and do this and take that first step.
So yeah, I heard you say I have to do it to know. So all right, what's that first step?
The first step for me would be, as I said, would be going out and creating the content. Like I would sit down, think about that topic that resonates with me the most. And when I think about it, I think of a way to talk about it on my socials or talk about it at webinars or events that I could host for my for myself or for groups that I could do ahead. So I think my first step could be coming up with a topic that I resonate with the most. That would help me just dive into coaching completely, and I think that would help me. Yeah.
I don't know if you see our private chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
It's funny because
Thanks a lot.
Lisa put that in there, and I've been thinking that the whole time. I mean, just on a completely, non-coaching, but
Yeah.
love to hear you speak. I mean, you are well spoken. You also have a beautiful accent, and
Thank you.
yeah.
It's a Kenyan accent, just in case you're wondering.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very, very cool. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And so it's almost like I could sit and listen to you speak for, I mean, any given amount of time. And so
Thank you.
I hope you come back. I hope you come back because you have spoken in a way that I think others resonate with, that you're speaking out loud what they're thinking and feeling. And the way that you have shared, I so appreciate your vulnerability in this expression. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Oh, see, you good love in the other chat too.
Yep.
So
We're kind of
Anthony, we can't hear you. And
There's
the phone ringing.
We've got about 10 minutes left, but I kind of want to put Sheila in the coaching seat for just a moment, bringing us back to the topic of how do we transition? How do we take those steps from, a 9 to 5 or some previous career into the coaching space? And you said earlier your ideal clients were people who are trying to balance, younger adults who are trying to balance that work and life. If one of the coaches that are watching this is, coming to you and they say, "Hey, Sheila, how do I, get past this? How do I get past this block and fully put myself into coaching and my career that I want?" What would you tell them or ask them?
I think the first thing that I'd do, definitely I'd create a safe space for them. I'd greet them, and just create that environment for them to understand that I would be here and just be a coach for them. And then the next thing, I would ask them, what's the first thing that they would want to do as a coach? Like, or rather, what's the first obstacle that they're facing from their work as they transition into coaching? Is there something that's being the block into in their life? And I'd listen to them. Saying it loud and just talking, and from then on, I'd get points for the rest of the coaching.
I think that's kind of what we did for this, 40 or 50 minutes was we got to what is that obstacle for you? And really that's the first step for, that's a good first step for all of our listeners too. If you're trying to make that change, what's that first obstacle? There might be a lot of obstacles. You might be, instead of stepping on the ice, which is like a little pond, you might be stepping on a whole lake worth of obstacles. But managing that first obstacle, it's the first step to get going into that career path that you want, that you're passionate about.
And Sheila did, I think, a really good job of reframing an obstacle by, I think, looking back and realizing, again, speaking about the shadow being even more terrifying than some of those obstacles that you might face. So maybe just changing how you think about potential obstacles as being obstacles, not necessarily being as detrimental as maybe being in the space that you would be had you not faced some of those obstacles.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jerome. Thank you, everyone. This has been really lovely. I felt like it was a coaching session for me. So thank you all. Thank you.
Because it was a coaching session.
It's like one of the visuals I got because I think in pictures. I'm one of those people. When you were sharing this concept of ice is at first I just saw sort of like a big ice lake, but then when you did the contrast of shadows, I in my head pictured all around the lake shadowed, and then it just having a big light in the center and on that ice. And so for me, it made it really scary to want to go back to the shadows, right? Once I was on the ice. So just that was a visual that popped into my head. So oh, am I frozen? I'm frozen.
Yeah, speaking of visual, we're not getting a very solid one of you at the moment.
Oh, I'm seeing her fantastic. So
Oh, are you? Okay.
I'm towards the end of the stream anyways.
So final thoughts. Have we done final thoughts?
Kind of. I think we did.
Okay, well, there we go.
Yeah, final thoughts. Identify that first obstacle and then identify what's motivating you, what's pushing you to step out there and, put yourself at risk. And because whenever you start a business, there's always a certain amount of risk that you're taking. Why are you taking that risk? Figure that out and then figure out what you need to do first.
I'm just going to say, philosophically, there's risk in everything. It's risky just getting out of bed in the morning. But it's risky to stay. So I mean, honestly, and not helpful to anybody. But I'm also wondering in that metaphor, who can give her skating lessons? We sometimes think we have to do it alone when we don't, which I think is a fantastic point. It's a beautiful, beautiful point. Yeah. Sheila.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Great.
Thank you, everyone. This was really lovely. Thank you.
And then, just in case there's anybody out there watching that wants to get in touch with you, is there any way they can?
Yes. If you want to get in touch with me, please, you can do so. I'm in the chat group. You could get in touch with me anytime. And even in my email. Yeah, and I'm open to peer-to-peer coaching, and I might reach to one of the four of you for mentorship, please. Can I close my eyes? Yeah.
Do you want to shout out any social media as well for people to follow you at?
Yes, my Instagram is MS Sheila Kimani, or if you just search Sheila Kimani, the first one that will pop up with an MS. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. This was lovely.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thanking you for that vulnerability space.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not Shelia, it's Sheila.
Oops. Oh yeah, yes. Oh, perfect. Thank you. All right. Well, I think in that case, though, while they're fixing that,
I'll put it in the blog too.
Thank you.
I just want to take a moment to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for everybody who commented while we were doing this. And we love seeing you guys and hearing from you guys. We'll be back next week. We're going to be talking with another group of students that want to discuss niching and finding their niche. They're having trouble figuring out what their niche is going to be. So we're going to give them a hard time about that.
We do some coaching too.
And thank you so much again for being here, Sheila, and also to those folks out there watching. Please make sure if you're a coach and you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, you want help. Maybe it's something in your coaching session. Maybe it's something around getting started. Anything of this nature. Please always feel free to leave it in the comments, and we will help you. We'll do an episode about it. We will reach out to you in some regard. We absolutely monitor our comments, and we also want to hear from you all the time. And on that note, I think we can just do the standard share, like, all that good stuff. Comment,
subscribe,
all that, everything that we do. Yeah. All that, all that.
And join us again, 4 p.m.
Take our class. Come join us in our 3-day intensive, level 1, level 2. It's such a great journey. Sheila can attest to her level 1 class.
Yes, I can definitely do. My sister is joining. She saw the.
Oh,
so Yeah, she actually asked for the link of the school, so I did send it to her.
That's awesome.
Fabulous.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And as at the bottom of the comment says, we do this every Tuesday at 4:00 Pacific Standard Time. And we'll be back next week. Thank you guys for watching. It's always a pleasure. And make sure you check out Certified Life Coach Institute. We certify life coaches in 3 days. And we're award winning.
Here.
Bye.
And Lisa could be teaching one of your classes. Who knows?
Or Brooke in the very near future. Hmm?
Yeah.
Hey, no.
Yeah.
For me, I could be teaching a class.
Oh.
See you guys next week.